Okay, let me show you how I finish my basket pattern pieces. I do it this way for a reason. Instead of just spraying the piece with lacquer, I worry about the lacquer penetrating into those grooves like it should. And so I like to use this wipe-on poly. I'm walking over here because I just saw a spot that's needs to be cleaned. It's got a little smudge on it. I can't have that. And so I have a wipe-on poly concoction that I like to use. And let's see if I can get it on here. I just took an old glue bottle and put some blue tape on it, and I use 2 parts wipe-on poly, 1 part boiled linseed oil, and 3 parts mineral spirit. And so I use this because I don't like to mix up a lot of it, because I think the mineral spirits evaporates out of it and it gets thicker. I do this because it's a really thin solution and I want something that'll penetrate into the illusion, into the the pattern. And then this gets down in the cracks. Now I put this on with a little 1-inch brush. I got a whole box of these, like 96 of them on Amazon, and I think they were 20 bucks, as opposed to the hardware store where you pay $1 or something a piece for them. So anyway, put the wipe-on poly on. Let's put a little bit in the cup here. Looks like my nozzle needs to be cleaned a little bit, of course. And I put this on carefully because I don't want to smudge anything. So I usually start with the back first. One thing to keep in mind is that as I put this on, sometimes I'll find a spot that I missed, and you can still apply some ink after this finish has been put on. So I put that on pretty liberally. Like I say, I want to get down in those cracks. I gotta figure out how to get that to come out faster without spraying my camera and everything else. Go around there good. I'm just brushing that very lightly. This part of the process is fun because the colors have pretty well gone flat and dulled down by the time they dry good. And this kind of brings everything back to life again. Then I'll just go around and let that brush just go right down in those grooves. So that I know I've got that wiped down into everything there. Okay, it looks pretty good. Now take a paper towel, and I don't need to let this sit for very long, especially on the back side. I'll take a paper towel and no wiping. All I'm doing is daubing that dry as I can. Now you don't want to leave any standing finish on this because it kind of bubbles up a little bit and gets a little crusty. You don't have to have it bone dry, but you want to make sure you get everywhere good. So that you don't have any standing stuff to dry funny. And then I can wipe it there on that bare wood. Okay, I think that's got it pretty good. Now turn it over. Got to be careful you're not rubbing anything. Now do this side. Usually start at the top, work my way down because this stuff will run down into the bottom. And then I use a brush that's not completely full to touch that edge so it doesn't run down the back side too. Hopefully you can see how that kind of comes back to life when you start putting some finish on it. Just work my way down to the center. This is the same process I use on all of my basket pattern pieces, no matter what they are. If I'm doing a box that just has a pattern on the outside, then I always do the inside of the box too. This is a good sealer for the inside of a box. Okay, that's pretty well covered. I'm just gonna go around it now. Make sure I haven't missed any spots. Let it work down into those grooves between the beads. Okay, that's got it. And then the beautiful thing about that brush is I don't have to clean that dang thing, I just throw it away. So we'll let that sit for about 2 seconds. Now I go around this edge right here because I've brushed that there and I don't want to run going down that back side. And of course in the bottom that's going to be really wet. No rubbing, no wiping, just daubing it dry. Looks like we're getting there. Looks good. So I'll look at it and see if there's any really shiny spots that I need to touch again. Doesn't have to be completely dry, but you just want as much of the excess out of there as possible. So, and I think we're there. So you can see that brightens that back up again. Now I'll let that dry for a couple of days, whatever it takes to be good and dry. Now, like I said, while you're doing this, if you see a spot a bead that you didn't completely paint or missed or something, you can still take the India ink pen and touch it up a little bit. Now, after this is dry for a couple of days, I will spray it with several coats of Deft satin lacquer. That's the one I found that's been the best. I've tried others and they didn't work as well, but that's what I use right there, and I've been really happy with that finish. Goes on really well, dries really well, and usually it takes 3 coats at least. When it starts feeling smooth and covered well, then that's enough, and then you've got something with a pretty nice finish on it. So there we have it.